Sure, I'll start it off. Just Pete, now that you're at a game week, you guys got through the roster decision you had to make Saturday. Just how you feeling about where this team is roster-wise?
Well, we came through camp and the entire offseason in fortunate shape in that we have a lot of guys healthy going in. That's always a good sign that we had a good, successful camp. We had to, you notice how, we kind of managed our way through it, but our guys did a nice job getting it done. Honestly, our guys reported in condition better than we may have anticipated, not knowing because we weren't able to work with them. But they did obviously report in good shape and then took to the workload well. And so that's a real good positive. Everything has worked together just like we kind of had hoped. And so we're in pretty good shape right now. And we'll see where that leaves us. We've got to start playing some games and find out how we match up because that's really where the information will come from. But all that needed to be done here feels like it's in good shape, and we're fired up and ready to go.
Ben Arthur.
Hey, Pete, any thoughts on Jadeveon Clowney joining the Titans?
Yeah, he's a good player, and it was a long off season in terms of trying to figure out how that was going to work out. And we were involved throughout, but yet we have moved on, for the most part, well early in the offseason so that we could do the rest of the team. And fortunately, we were able to do that and got some good players. But he's a terrific player and should be a good addition for them.
And then second thing, with your defensive line as currently constructed, I guess how important might it be to, find other ways to scheme up pressure? Obviously you have Jamal and bringing blitzes and stuff like that. How important?
Yeah, we don't think we're going to do much of that, but it's always important. Everybody's got to add to the pressure, and the coverage does as well. So, I'm really pleased with what Benson's done and what Bruce has done to lead us, and we're anxious to, when the time comes, to get Darrell Taylor into the mix. So you'll see here, as we continue to work to compete to shore up, the rotations. We'd like to have a better rotation, and hopefully with DeMontre coming in, that'll help us. He's been a rotational player and has been a very aggressive player, and he'll give us a chance to get something going. But we want to make sure and see where Alton Robinson fits into that. He's had a really good camp. And the early season will tell us. We need to get him on the field and see what it looks like.
Thank you.
Corbin?
You're welcome.
Hey, Pete, you mentioned the difficulties trying to assess talent of other teams this year without the preseason games, and only 17 players that were claimed by the entire league illustrates that. You guys took a chance on DeAndre Walker. He didn't play at all last year. What have you seen from him that was worth taking a flyer on, and where do you see him fitting into this defense?
Well, one of the things we did is we knew that you wouldn't have the game, so we continued to stay in connection with their college film, all that you would have to go on. And he was the guy that we were interested in the draft last time around, and he has a couple spots that he can play. He can play Sam linebacker for us. Could be a guy that could be a candidate in the Leo spot as well. He's got edge rush ability. It's what he did in college, and so we thought it was a really good opportunity to get a guy that would that have some upside, figuring that they probably were going to put him on the practice squad maybe and or do something with him, knowing that nobody knew any information on him because he didn't play last year. So our guys did a good job to go back and use the evaluation from before and figure it out, and so happy we got him.
Bob?
Yeah, Pete, what's the situation with Phil Haynes?
Phil's got a hip issue that we're concerned about, and we're going to see how it goes here. So he starts the season on IR, and we'll find out what that, if we give him enough time, what we need to do to make sure he's healthy. So we're a little disappointed in that he came in, worked out really hard, and just didn't, his hip just didn't quite get through it, and wasn't able to take the whole workload. So that's unfortunate for him because he really wants to play bad, and he's a good kid, and he's going to be a good player too. So we'll just have to wait it out now.
And one more, Shaquem Griffin, the decision, I guess, on waiving him and then being able to get him back, was there some anxious moments there? Was that a tough call? Or?
Yeah, because we wanted him on our team, and so we were fortunate to get that done. You can see that this was not the year that people were doing a lot of claiming and all, and so it worked out well for us. He's a good ball player, had a really good camp, worked hard the whole time, but just the way that the roster turned out this time, this is where he had to start. he'll be ready to play in week 1, 2, or 3. Whenever we get rolling, he'll be ready.
Greg,
Pete, ultimately, how close did you come to keeping Jadeveon Clowney? Were you even ballpark money-wise, or did he choose beyond money?
I talked to him throughout the process and stayed with him. We had really, good amicable conversations about things, and he was just waiting the whole time, and he had his sights set really high to start with, and it just put him in a situation where he had to wait it out, and he didn't get, near the amount that he wanted, as it turned out, and our offers and stuff early on didn't look attractive to him, and so. Because he had his mindset elsewhere, so I don't know. It was just a pretty normal process, but he just wasn't ready to make a call early on.
So you didn't try last chance. You didn't go for another offer at the end.
We were in it the whole time. We were with him the whole time, in the discussion. There was a switch of agents in there right near the end and all of that, and John was in on all of it.
And then have you got any word that Josh Gordon might be coming back to you or reinstated?
We really can't even talk about that right now. Sorry, we can't comment on that.
Thank you.
Joe,
Hey, is Quentin Dunbar back with the team yet?
He's back in town. He's got to go through protocol to get back in.
How do you feel about Trey Flowers when he came in? What his camp was like? I know Shaquille Griffin said. Let me just find the quote. Just said he's a different person, going to be a different ball player. Basically, just his confidence and the mindset of where he's come in. So, just curious for your assessment.
Yeah, he said it exactly right. That's just the case. Trey came back with a level of confidence and really 2 years behind him. That he's benefited from. He had a really good camp. Was the best he's been, and did a nice job. So, sometimes you can overtry, and I think he might not phrase it that way, but I think he was pressing last year a lot, and didn't settle in as much as he came back like with just a different outlook. And guys change from year to year, and they grow, and he certainly did.
Have you made a decision on that spot?
Not yet.
Curtis,
Hey Pete, what's the outlook long term here for Rashad Penny, Kobe Parkinson, and Darrell Taylor as they work their way back on the list that they're on? And do you anticipate when it's time that they'll be able to come back in?
We anticipate all three of those guys coming back. We see the future unfolding in a way that these guys are all going to contribute to us. So we're going to get a good boost from those guys. When the week turns around, when they can come back, they're all competing to be back at the earliest date possible, and so that's a good group of guys. We're very fortunate. We only had one guy go to IR, and unfortunately for B-Jack, but we only had one guy go to IR this camp, and that was out for the season. So we're fortunate that way, and these guys are going to make it back to us. It should be a good return.
Michael Sean,
Pete, you guys announced that you're going to have the helmet decals with victims of police brutality on them. Players are. Looks like some T-shirts pregame as well. I just want to know how that came about and what your thoughts on it are.
That was totally player-driven, totally on them. They've made those choices as they felt best represented them. I was supportive of them totally.
And were the coaches doing anything? I know you guys aren't wearing helmets, but anything in that same vein?
Yeah, there is a chance for the coaches to do something with patches and things like that. So those guys have their choice as well.
Thanks.
Sure.
Brady,
Hey Pete, with Darrell and the other guys on NFI and PUP, are the rules any different this year in terms of when they could start practicing and when they could come back?
They have been adjusted, but I'm not sure I got them all nailed. There's been quite a bit of conversation about that, but let me let our guys figure that out. I'm not ready to tell you what it is, but I believe that they're going to get a few more weeks to work out before they come out. But it's still like a 6-week deal to get them started.
Okay, and with Darrell, just physically, like how close is he to being ready to start practicing?
Well, he's got to go through the window period here. But I was with him watching his workout the other day, and he's pushing it hard. He's making big progress, numbers wise and strength wise and percentage wise. And he's doing really well, and he was excited about it when I was sitting there with him watching his workout. So but I can't tell you that we know exactly what week it's going to happen. He's got to prove the strength gains, and then he's got to prove that he can handle the workload once he gets back to all the heavy, on field running. He's still in the Ultra G and all that kind of stuff, all the equipment still. So until he makes it to that, I really won't be able to tell you.
Okay, thanks.
Art?
Pete, given the departures of Clowney, Jackson, and Jefferson, and the people you've added, can you say that this defensive line now is an improvement over a year ago?
I sure like our speed on the outside. All of our guys, have had numbers. They got numbers to bring with them, and to bring 16 sacks to us just in Benson and Bruce that's a real positive. Our guys last year didn't add up anywhere near that, so that's a positive, and hopefully we can enhance their play. We really would like to see Jay Reed come back to his numbers somewhere into what he did a couple years ago. He had kind of a stilted beginning last season. Now that he's back and he's in great shape and ready to go, if he can get his numbers anywhere near where he was, to add to it, we can be in good shape.
Is there something you want to see out of this group, out of the chute, that might be different than a year ago? In terms of the pressure.
Are we talking about just the pass rush in general?
Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely want to see more activity. We want to see a better job done on the play passes and the containment of it and that kind of stuff. We want to give our coverage a chance to make some plays that we missed out on last year. So we're hopefully we'll see some of that.
Thanks.
AJ?
Coach, I'm just wondering, it's kind of bizarre. It feels like this game week of week one feels so different than in years past. So I'm wondering how it feels for you ahead of week one, and then if these new protocols, especially with COVID, how you guys are incorporating that to make it a part of the routine of game week.
Really, AJ, it does feel different. It feels different to me. It feels different to all of us to some extent. We're competing on a whole different level, that we've never been, even attentive to. So, we're COVID competition all the way. We're battling it, and we've got. Has not been a nuisance to us at all. It's been different, and I can't tell you. It just feels unique. The protocols that are coming in are still coming in. They're not as set as we would like them, even going into this first week at this time, but they're close, and we'll have it by the weekend. But there's some stuff on the road, testing on the road, and things like that we have to work out. It's been a tremendous challenge for the administrative side of things to get all of this organized so that we could meet the standards of it. We've tried to go on as much as we could and not wait for the league to make their final decisions and give us opportunities and choices of ways to handle the challenges that we knew were coming, like testing on the road and eating on the road and how that's all going to work, and all of the travel around the flights and the hotels and all those things. We've had to do a lot of stuff to get organized, and it's working out okay. We're in okay shape. We're ready to take off. We'll see what happens when we come back next week, but there's still a few things that are not tied up yet that we'll find out from the league here soon.
So with that, this may be kind of a ridiculous question, but are there people who are specifically dedicated to figuring out all the COVID protocols so that you and the players and the coaches can stay focused on the football, and you guys just kind of get a memo, or are you involved? No. We've
been integrally involved the whole way. Really, for the simple reason, I wanted to make this a competition for us. I wanted to make it where we were competing at every turn to figure out what would be the best alternative, what are our choices, where could we choose the direction, and we would have multiple scenarios available to us, awaiting, the decision on what we could do and what we couldn't do, kind of figuring, what should happen and so there's a number of us that have been together working this thing out the whole time, and really we've been on it for months. I mean, I'm not talking just, okay, we're at camp. I'm talking months before in preparation for this, and honestly, there hasn't been that many surprises. It's been delayed. It's because there's so much at stake, and the league is working so hard to figure it out. The decisions haven't come maybe as early as we would like to help us out. But I keep going back. It's all relative. Everybody's got the same set of circumstances. So we just wanted to make sure we were competing, and that's why I wanted to be in it and to be battling the whole time on the choices that we had to make and weighing the decisions and stuff like that. So. I'm really pleased that so far we've been so fortunate with our testing and all that. And the results of the testing obviously is the most important part. But we don't feel like we've missed an opportunity yet. So we'll just try to keep staying ahead of it.
Omar?
Hey, Pete, I'm just curious if playing time might be a little more widely distributed this year, at least early on, to kind of, better further evaluate your roster for guys that, you may not truly know what they can do, not seeing them in game competition yet.
There is. I mean, I don't mind saying that there is some conversation we've had about that. About making sure that we see a lot of guys play early on because we haven't had the games, and just to make sure we don't overburden somebody week 1, week 2. If we had some opportunities to go ahead and trade some reps and all, so that's part of the focus for us. Yeah. And that would be just kind of typical for not having preseason games. What would you do? You'd want to see more guys early and make sure that guys are ready to go, and that the impact of the first game doesn't weigh into the game 2 by overdoing it the first time out. So there's some of that going on.
Is that
it's a good observation.
Based on your experience from college, bringing that in, or just something you guys just discussed separately from that?
It's based on experience. So,
sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jackie?
Hey, Coach, I'm just curious, with the no preseason games, is there any particular position group that you're really looking forward to seeing them going up against another team come week 1?
Gosh, no, Jackie, this time, I'm looking forward to seeing everything. Can't wait to see the guys up front on offense, see how they work together. Anxious to see the pass rush that you guys have been asking about. Anxious to see our edge play, from Bruce and Benson, and see how those guys do. Looking forward to the battle at running back. We had really good competition, and really, I'm really excited about all our guys. They all can contribute and factor in. So, I'm always anxious to see how the guys emerge from year 1 to year 2 and see what happens, and see, that'll take a while to tell that, but from indications that we've gotten in camp and all, we're really excited about a few of our guys coming up and expecting their production and their role and what's going on to really increase. So there's a million things.
Curtis?
With the receiver spot behind Tyler and DK, with no Josh here, with Paul not getting up to speed, Dorsett and Ursula dealing with some injuries, how do you feel about the depth of that group right now and the guys that are going to be able to go for you this week?
Feel pretty good. David Moore's had a really good camp, and he's a veteran now. He's been around enough to do all kinds of things. We're counting on Philip to play and do a good job in this game. He practiced today, and we'll see how he goes through the week, but every indication is that he should be okay. We're really fast. Our guys know our stuff. We've synced up really well. I think when you add the impact that Greg Olson should have in complement with those guys, I think we can have a really well-rounded throwing game. And Russ is really on it. He's had a great offseason and a great camp, and he's figured out how to do it. He competed like crazy at home, and he's come to camp and just been lights out. So we're really excited about where we're going with it.
Last question, Aaron Levine.
Do you guys want me to turn up the volume on Dave over here? Jeez. The password is. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Aaron.
No problem. Just wondering if there's been a vote on team captains, and also if I missed it, did you announce a starting center?
No, you didn't miss it. You're the only one to ask. I can't believe it. I thought for sure that'd be the first question. Ethan Postic's going to start for us. He had a great camp. Ethan had off-season surgery on something that's been bothering him for a number of years, athletic hernia thing that he's been dealing with. All I can tell you is he did a great job in camp and looked terrific. Was our most experienced guy with handling the whole system and all, and it showed. And so we're fired up to see him go. The other question was about. What was the other one?
Captains.
Team captains.
Oh, yeah. Team captains. Yeah, we did do team captains today. Bobby Wagner's on defense. Russell Wilson is on offense. And Nico Thorpe is special teams.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, guys. See you.